The phone appears to be cooling because it's like it's like almost 9 p.m. at night. So it's like I have to record very late at night in order for me to get all my work out. But because it's almost 9 p.m., I cannot anticipate that I'm going to get exercise in today. Guys, I'm just panicking, man. I'm going to lose my body. I've been given a curfew of 10 p.m. to be showered by then. And if I don't obey that curfew, I might get another issue might rise up in the hearts of people again, and I'm gonna find myself with issues. So this whole video, Grandshop, I wanted to ultimately get to a point to explain that I need to change how I do things, because if I don't change how I do things, unnecessary persecution. I'm gonna get killed by unnecessary persecution. I need exercise in order to overcome. It's like among the cocktail of interventions that I use in order to conquer all of this demonic attack. And if I don't do that, if I don't partake in exercise, if I don't actually put endorphins into my body, dopamine, serotonin, if I don't do any such thing through exercise, I'm just going to be finding extremely wanting. So anyway, I'm going to strategize. I'm going to concoct a new way of working. Because if I don't do that, like I said, it's over with for me. Please go check out the previous 2 parts to gauge your bearings as to what we're talking about here. But I was explaining a horrible dream to you that I had long ago, and I had this same cousin has been on my neck for a minute. She's been on my neck for a minute. Like, it's literally been over a decade that she's been going back to the drawing board on me. And all of that going back to the drawing board is very exasperating, and it is the thing that makes me look at God and be like, you see what their intentions are. You can see what they're trying to do to me. They literally are gloating when they're not supposed to be gloating. It's one of those over my dead body people. And you're giving them what under heaven it is that they want. How in the world are you going to let that cousin gloat over the fact that I did not get the husband that she insisted I don't get? I told you guys that in my dreams, this cousin, for the first dream, there was a cigarette butt that she kept on putting in my room that I threw out. And then the second dream, it was her throwing me to a married man because she was in an affair with one that treated her like trash, and now she was throwing me to the same guy. Now this third dream, I'm explaining it to you now, and she's gloating over me. Where's your husband? And then when out comes a little creepy pervert that is occult insane. She's priding herself that those are your only options. That dream, I never, ever, ever under heaven would have understood it. I would never have understood that dream 12 years ago, 10 years ago. I got it when I was like 27. So about 11 to 12 years ago, I got that dream, and I would not have understood it that time. I wouldn't have, because it was bizarre. First of all, I was in some room, a bedroom that did not look like the bedroom in the house where I was staying at the time. It was lowly, it was meager, and it was narrow. And the bed was like a 3/4 bed or a half a bed, like a single bed. It was too small for me. And oh yes, another thing about that dream that's important to highlight, that particular bed was right next to a window. It was next to a window. Where it is that I used to stay, the window of the bedroom was depending on how I moved the bed around, largely at the back. Like, it was like this window back here. It was at the back, and the sleigh bed was against the window. In this dream, the window was next to me where I slept. It was right next to me, like as in kissing where it is. Like the bed was like right against the wall, and then there was a window. Yeah. Such details, like just the attention to detail in that dream is the stuff of goosebumps. The attention to detail is the stuff of goosebumps, because now as I relay this particular dream, I realize what I was being shown in that dream all those 12 years ago. Because here it is that 10, 12 years later, I'm literally in a narrow room, living, however, in my mother's house. I am in a narrow room. The bed that I had in waking life was a queen-sized bed. This here is also a queen-sized bed, yes, but it has fitted into a very squeezed up, narrow environment. It was a small bed. This bed that I am in, that I sleep on, is not small. It's a queen-sized bed, but there's a lot of stuff on it. There's like a lot of pillows that I put on here because it's all my furniture from old that covers up like a good half of the bed, making me sleep on only one side, which is the single side. And on top of that, I'm right next to a window. Y'all every so often hear me opening a window for the cat to come in and out, in and out, in and out. The window's like right there. I wake up right and next, literally I sleep next to a window in a way that never used to be the case. And that room was narrow. It was extremely narrow in my dream. And just as this Wendy house, Mkuku, whatever it is that you want to call it, that I'm living in right now is also narrow. It's narrow. It's narrow just like that dream. It's narrow. And the spiders was a hint of fear, because the Lord always uses spiders in my dream to show me fear, like the fact that it's a fear and it's an irrational fear that I should not be walking in and it's not the real deal. It means nothing, but you magnify it to a point of getting all these heart palpitations, like just an emotional turmoil within, because of just the conditions that when you wake up in the morning, what you're waking up to. So if you think about my present life right now, I've got a spiritual gifting, and in this gift I see a lot of darkness, like people, all the stuff that they're doing to me, that they're still trying to do to me, stuff that they're doing to my family, each other, wada, etc. I see it. Yeah, I did put on makeup over there. I see all this stuff, okay, and it is all very disturbing for me to see, because of the way that I dream so very much. I'm distracted, as you can tell, you guys, because there's a lot of activity, noise on the outside, and I've been getting eavesdropped on, and I'm not happy about that, but there's nothing I can do about it, coupled with the fact that I can't multitask. I'm doing edits in the background. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. Oh, what is this? When I wake up in the morning, because of my spiritual gifting and all the horrible things that I see, I have got this extreme feeling of foreboding. It is deep and sullen. It's forlorn. It is still, and it's lingering. It's lethal. It's lethal. I don't even know how I carry such a heavy load of understanding the darkness around and not die from it and not actually get a heart attack or something. I'm always so scared. I'm always so afraid. Like, I live in fear something like 65% of the day, and that 65% is only like that because it takes so much for me to conquer the fear in my heart. It takes a lot. Like, I have to do this work, and then I have to exercise, and the combination helps me basically survive the latter part of the day. But in the mornings, I walk around with this feeling of foreboding, like I'm dying. I literally feel like I'm dying, and there's nothing stopping this death. There is so much demonic attack. There is so much spiritual oppression that I feel on the ecosystem that I imagine that it will inevitably tip me over, like it's obviously going to end up in death. Like, I literally feel like a dead woman walking the moment I wake up. That feeling of foreboding is extremely hellish, and it is a daily, nightmarish, guaranteed occurrence. Like, I go to bed better, relieved, but I wake up with a fresh mission to conquer a horror movie because of all the wickedness I see when I'm sleeping. I am burdened by my own spiritual gifting, plus my very scary life. Not only that, there's all of this witchcraft that is making me feel sometimes like I'm not getting out of this, and that this is going to be the way that I'm striving for the rest of my days. When time progresses, it's like nothing matters. Nothing matters. No clock ticking matters, because today is as good as next year. Because for 10 years I've been in this mode and it's going nowhere. So I fear that I'm going to turn 45 like this. I fear that I'm going to turn 50, just trying to escape suicide and trying to escape constant bewitchment, like a barrage from crazy people that tell themselves over my dead body that you will ever have a life. I mean, when you make a person live in that dystopia, why do you not think the world is over? Like, this is South Africa. Nobody survives what I'm going through, guys. No one. Except for Christians. But so many people are put through what I'm going through. What do you think ultimately then becomes of them? Some commit suicide, and then others sin against God. When you're this scared of what's coming tomorrow, you will, even though your principles or your morals are loftier than that, have an adulterous affair just so somebody can help you out. You will sleep with your boss. You will do whatever it takes to feed your children. You will consult isangoma and so partake in occult magic and therefore sin against God. You will do whatever it takes because it's not comfortable to be in 24-hour fear. And what witches do is put people in the kind of fear that makes it impossible for them to trust an invisible God to give them what they need tomorrow. So we've got all of these people basically getting by on darkness, even though they would much rather not go out like that. When then you create that little circus on the earth, a whole bunch of suicides, followed closely by a lot of spiritual compromise, settling, literally selling your body like a prostitute, just so you don't have to be scared for tomorrow. When that is the world, how is it sustainable? You have literally destroyed South Africa. You have destroyed people's peace, joy. You have taken clean hands and made them grubby. You've made people that had standards, values, morals, forget about them. Because nobody survives without a little bit of compromise. They are forcing people into the premises of the Sangoma. They are making people abort babies that they would not have aborted because how am I going to take care of it? When you endure people through that level of hardship, that's what people in the occult do. I'm sorry. They have destroyed the country. They have metastasized a cancer. And people keep dropping like dominoes, if not physically, by suicide or murder. Just by spiritual degradation. In the sense that they become so wicked that they will obviously be lambasted by a holy God when they die, and even sometimes while they still live. They are causing condemnation of people. On the left and on the right, it is a carnage. It's heinous what they do. And yet, people imagine me as the one here that's in trouble when I stick to my guns because nobody else appears to be doing that. Nobody else appears to be refusing to let go of righteousness. Nobody else appears to be refusing to ukuyovakashela isangoma just to get umsebenzi. Nobody appears to be refusing to sleep with some pervert so that they can finally feed their children. Everybody is just letting them get this, what they want, like away with all that murder. And then they look at me on some otlotlhokafa like Karabo. Literally, they're scared for me. They're scared for me. When the Bible says, do not fear man, who can only kill the body and thereafter do nothing. But fear God, who has got power to not only kill the body, but also throw its soul into hell. What does it profit you to gain the whole world and yet lose your soul? They cause you to be scared, frightened about tomorrow. And because most of the human race fears death, they don't just capitulate to suicide. But if you don't commit suicide because you can go nowhere in life, what then will you do so you can have some kind of a semblance of a life? You will marry the pervert that in an arranged marriage has looked at you and said, but I said I want you, I'll take care of you. And he will then be like Muriel on Muriel's wedding, happy, while you merely just accept whatever rubbish he has to offer, because that's better than killing yourself. I am here apparently then the one who is in trouble. Karabo, nobody lives like you anymore. That's just the problem. Do you not see? The fact that no one is refusing to settle anymore, that's the issue. That is the great apostasy. That is so much wickedness that the love of many is growing cold. That is perilous times according to the scriptures. That's the end of days. That's the end of the human race as we know it. When you, just so you can be okay tomorrow, will become a spiritual harlot or loyang all of South Africa, rather than be unemployed for a year, 2, 3. Ungamene, wathatha my chance. Because at the end of the day, you said a prayer to Jesus. At the end of the day, you said the sinner's prayer. At the end of the day, let me save this because the phone is getting hot. In my dream, I was already in the future, but I did not know that this is what was coming my way. And my cousin was gloating over me. The fear that was induced into my bones, what sparked it in my dream? What caused me all that fear? In other words, the arachnophobia. It was men, guys, like, y'all, I am not out here just lamenting like nje against amadoda. Even God himself has shown me largely black men in South Africa. There's a problem. It is potentially a South African issue, but here it is that I have been lambasted by some beastly, pestilent monster in America. And this guy has got me chilling on the edge of my seat almost daily. I told you guys that he scares me. Wang Tosa, this guy. because he keeps on pouring sorcery in my life that causes me so much foreboding, that I fear so much melancholy, so much pain in my heart, without the ability to end it, without the ability to end my life, because I fear God more. And so I'm just trapped in this limbo of exorbitant melancholy. When he throws all that darkness into my space, I gotta go through a couple of hours, maybe days sometimes, just in that limbo of extreme emotional turmoil that is very scary, because I can almost taste blood on my tongue, the way it is so deadly. And that's what he has made me live under for almost 2 years. And look at this, take this. He's not the only one. He's not the only man doing this to me. There are men looking at my situation, competing for me, vying for me, literally spawning, trying to see who among them is finally going to do the spell that's going to make me want them. Just now, as I'm talking, about 2 parts ago, like 2 individual segments, since I've been pausing in between shorter parts because of my phone overheating, I heard the Holy Spirit tell me in between, in the intervals when I'm waiting for my phone to cool down, I hear, I will put feelings in her heart for me. I will put them there. When the world is just teeming at the folds with such psychopaths, with so many deadly people that are so coercive that even when a person has spoken the same thing over and over and over again, they keep going back to the drawing board, and the thing that they use is freaking scary. It's literally a deposit of extreme emotion that is not from you. I just recently conquered, literally, as in maybe I'm 2 days out of it, feelings that I was reinvested into for my ex-boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend uyenze a spell that caused me to be deeply nostalgic about him. And I knew that those feelings were not real, they were not mine. I got over him. That's the only thing that made me ride it out until I am where I am today. Angnandaba, I don't care what happens to him, whether he breathes or dies is irrelevant. I'm saying I don't care. But just 2-3 days ago, all this love was in my heart where I felt like I missed him. I knew it was demonic. And that's what rescues me, guys. The fact that I know that the fact that but the reignition of those feelings in my heart was a coercion so exorbitant that all I could ask God was, why do you keep letting them get it? Why did that guy prosper to plant any feelings in my heart for him? Why did it ever come back? I understand it's gone now. I don't care. Like, I'm probably, like, literally, I've recovered whatever he put on my chest. It took like 4 days to finally flee off me. But why did it even lodge? Why? I believe it lodged because the Lord is trying to show you through me how they end up married to women that wake up in a marriage on some, what is this? I didn't want him, but there's a ring now. I was literally in an emotional state of endearment for my ex-boyfriend for 4 days recently. And my feelings were so lofty during that time that I had to actively tell myself sometimes that, Karabo, that's not you. There was a time when I was even heartbroken that he made a babies with another woman, that he married someone else. And it nearly tarried me to a point where I was even trying to mourn over the day that he got down on his knees and proposed to her while he wasted 5 years of my life without proposing. Except I remembered that I didn't even care. I don't care. Like, that he married someone else because he gets to. I moved on, like, in the worst way. But when somebody brings all that back to you, that's you being like, but why did you marry someone else? We're really talking about that now in 2024? Is that a discussion we're having? Literally, all I could tell myself during that time is that I cannot tabaka this, and I know. Deep down inside, I know I don't care. Deep down inside, I know I don't love this guy. Deep down inside, I know I moved on. Deep down inside, Nyazuguti, this here is a manufactured emotion. It's manufactured. But I conquered it in 4 days. Why? Because I'm a Christian. Nyatandaza, and things flee from me. Resist the devil and he flees from you. I prayed and those feelings left me. Do you understand? But like, what then for the person who nyatandazi? What for the secular chick that doesn't know Christ yet? You will marry a man that you were decidedly gone. You were done. Or no ferize, you had to leave. And yet he is going to reignite feelings that were in your heart when you were at the height of your joy together, but you got over him because he messed up. And even though you could not let go at some point, now you have grown, you've matured, and you're past it. And here it is that lo muntu is making you moonwalk. Uyakubuyisela emuva, taking you back. That is coercion. It is a rape. I can't say it enough. And I just come out of a word of understanding, literally to gauge the thoughts, perceive the thoughts of some man that's thinking, I will put feelings in her heart for me. After Kibu Waka, my ex-boyfriend, the past couple of days, on somehow it is that I know I don't feel this, I don't care. And the fact that it is spurred up in me, a man would listen to content like that and tell himself that it worked for 4 days. I'll just go and get a stronger level of witchcraft. That's the kind of stuff that gives me feelings of foreboding. That's the kind of stuff that makes me so nervous. Like, it scares me. Guys, I literally am afraid because the feelings are real. And during the time when you're in this whirlwind twisting in it, you feeling that puma. And it's a very scary time. So now when the feelings are not korobela, bring back lost lover, but commit suicide, when it's a death spell, trying to push you off the precipice, demon whispering into your ear, telling you to hang yourself. Imagine somebody just sending you that. You will die, murder by suicide, having not known that that wasn't you. You were not depressed. They brought that down your throat. It's scary, and I gotta live with not only suicide curses, but bring back lost love at Korobela. I gotta deal with compromise settle. Go and be the mistress of a married man. Go it like proper. These are the spells that keep getting sent to me daily, and I get Laura. And not only do I dream them, but the spirits, I feel what they're trying to achieve in my life. And for days, sometimes I gotta strive through all of that foreboding until I conquer on the other side. And it's a cycle. It just does not stop. It's a cycle. It's literally like a horror movie. I live in it 24 hours a day. And I only get given like 40 to 50% of the day to not feel it. The latter part of my day, busihu, that's when I'm cool. Let me save this. I mean, guys, women, just imagine this. Ne? Imagine working in an office building and you've got this like married man colleague that keeps on dropping little sexual innuendo bombs in your grill. You can tell he wants you. You find him disgusting. You don't want to be, seeing as you're a single woman waiting for marriage, you don't want to be any man's mistress. You don't want to be a married man's side piece. You don't want to be that second thing. But he's attracted to you. Uyakfuna. You have got your own autonomy to be like, no, I'm not going to be with a married man. Like, I'm not. And you will continue to find his advances disgusting alongside his, like I said, sexual innuendo that he drops in your grill. You get to be autonomous like that until one day he goes and manipulates you spiritually, and then you find yourself suddenly having feelings for him when you didn't like him yesterday. And now here it is that you're considering it a feasible endeavor to actually have an affair with him. You consider that dalliance now worth your while because you just can't fathom being with any other guy. Here it is that you're a single woman, maybe 25, perfectly viable to be married to a single man, having an affair with a married guy, maybe even giving him a child. Imagine somebody manipulating you into a situation that could utterly destroy your future like that. And yet it's happening all over the South Africa, where you're just accepting affairs with bosses. I had a boss that did that to me. He was one of my bosses, go MTN, some black dude. Saw myself in a dream having an affair with him, and I was so troubled by it. I didn't want to. I had just come from a nightclub with him, and he was seducing me heavily. Next thing I knew, I got out of the bedroom where he was seducing me, and his wife was in there, the grandmother, the mother, the children, and the whole community was looking at me on some, Karabo, you're such a home wrecker. I did not understand that dream about that boss, and I did not understand all the other dreams I kept on getting. Only for me to realize Uguti Lomuntu Karabo had a crush on you, and he wanted to influence you spiritually, to be attracted to him enough to have an affair with him, because he's been looking at you from a distance. And I was like, but that guy was my boss. That taboo, Karabo piso the boss ya thing. Now you are a whore in the office. Kanti, you've been manipulated. In my dream, there was a real struggle. There was a real struggle. He kept on seducing me, and I wanted to say no, but every time he would kiss me, something in me just sank. Until ultimately, in front of abantu bakhe, I looked like this abuser of some woman. That I'm busy stealing the man off. That woman in my dream, his wife, she had sorrow on her face very clearly. It's like she knew she had been put through a lot of rubbish by him. And I was just another woman that did not care about the pain of another woman. I was just another woman he had done this with. And so this woman, when I was busy trying to explain to her in my dream, I was explaining. I was trying to explain, no, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this with your husband, please. I was trying to resist. She was looking, rocking as she was standing, kitchening. because I was just another yapping woman in her ear, trying to say, look, I didn't want to cheat with your husband, he seduced me. Nobody would listen to me. The whole of Johannesburg, the whole of Johannesburg was seeing me wrecking a home. I was wrecking a home. And there was nothing I could do to negotiate. And the strange thing is the grandmother, otherwise his mother, like the Hlongwane, knew about the affair. She knew that I was having an affair with her son. And she did not tell the wife, and the wife was sad, and the whole of Johannesburg was wagging their heads at me for hurting a woman that was already in a lot of pain. That guy, he just disappeared in my dream while I became the whore that wrecked a home and broke a woman, because I'm that typical black chick typical black chick that goes nje uyo mosha and not care about your sisters. That was my dream. I did not stop getting such dreams about that boss. I did not know what they were, because when I was still working at MTN, he was not my boss at the time. He was my former boss when I was still working at MTN. I underestimated my dreams. I didn't see them for what they were. Mengabon. I wasn't able to interpret them. That was Korobela. I don't know what would have happened if I had stayed at MTN, but I do remember that there was a time when that same former boss stopped me when I was going up the stairs, tried to talk to me, and I was like, it's strange, you've never ever had a conversation with me that was just private, like non-work related. Why? I thought that maybe it's because I moved out of his team, got promoted, became a project manager, and so that's like he was just having a regular let's move left to right conversation because we're colleagues. But he literally stopped me from downstairs, and I was going up. He was like, Karabo. I was like, whoa, that's new. Didn't realize ukuthi lo muntu lona una crush. Can't keep it in his pants. Can't keep the crush on the deal. Like if you have a crush on a colleague, goodness, like if you're a married man, exercise self-control. Is that basic? Some people but like you gotta let it go when you're married. You gotta let it go. And that guy was like, I'm gonna get my bread buttered on both sides. And the same former boss, by the way, had a funny little secret affair with one of my friends at the time when we were still in the same team with him. And I was like, but girl, this dude is married. She's like, yeah, but I like him. I have a crush on him. Did she really? Now I'm starting to wonder if she really had a crush on him. She never did anything with him. He was a married man that didn't have any self-control. So my question then is, women, imagine working in the office and a man like that. We are funa high and low, and he is deeply involved in the occult. These things actually work. You will get feelings for someone ungamfuni. You will suddenly look at him differently. And that's the kind of stuff that will get a woman with values. Telling herself, I'll never have an affair with a married man. All of a sudden telling herself, this time it's different. I've never felt like this before about a guy. Kabang. I mean, that's literally an entire future gone. That's your reputation down the drain. That's other women looking at you like, that's you being looked at like that home-wrecking, careless woman. One of those, those chicks that all the other girls in the room avoid. Everybody's busy latching onto their husbands when you walk into a room. Because you've had an affair with a married man. Something you never would have done, and you've done it now. That's how much they steal autonomy. And I speak like this because this is an issue. I saw it in my dream. More so than Kabasari. The fear, the arachnophobia, the spiders overhead that were crawling above me. Who was pranking me? It was two of my male colleagues. And then they were colleagues, so I didn't think much of what they were doing. I did not think that they would... First of all, they scared me with spiders, and they called it a prank even though it was real spiders. The spiders were actually real, meaning that they use spiritual methods to scare women into submission. They scare women into submission using spiritual means that are actually scary. They are actually maneuvering or manipulating things in the spiritual realm. And so they don't get to laugh and say it was a joke because it's a real spider, you idiot. And I've got a real fear. And a nest above me as I sleep. How do you expect me not to be afraid? And that's what's supposed to cause us to capitulate. And these guys, the Lord also be step on one, yes, because they used witchcraft, but also because they were small in stature and waking life. They were tiny men, not grown past a certain height, too small for their age. The Lord is showing that it's all these insecure buggers that indeed absolutely do not deserve some of you. They are too small. They don't make sense for you. Their statistics are whack. They, like, if you were to be seen with one, you would get laughed at. If you were to get seen there, they literally, like, tank the stats of women. They come into your life and they tank your stats. They marry you, Gangane, and they tank your stats. There was a tiny little pipsqueak from America that came into my life that would have tanked my stats. Because he ingested a whole bunch of fear in my life until I thought he was feasible. Decimating everything. What is that fear? The fear is, like I said, I already made mention of this, that you're going to be okay, Sasa. to not be certain that tomorrow you're going to be okay, to not know where your next meal is coming from, to not know if you're going to keep your job, to not know if you're going to be able to feed your kids, to not know if you're going to be able to continue to pay your mortgage, to not know if that's fear. To not know if and so because you're not sure where anything is coming from, you're scared. That's the kind of thing that will cause you to basically respond to some substandard man sliding into your DMs trying to be your husband, trying to help you along, claiming to be chivalrous and a knight in shining armor. But that's the thing about a man with chivalry. He does not expect sex in return, does he? But these guys always do. They always do. There's never any chivalry to it. There's always something in it for them. There is always a string or two attached, and with these strings being attached, when you then say no, that's when they ingest a lot more fear. They scare you with a lot more want. They scare you with things that you feel you cannot for the life of you do without, and that's when you start to settle. And it is that settling that I am here to communicate to you that I didn't do it, so why are you? And yet people look at me and they think, Guti, I'm the one that's in trouble here. How in the world am I the only one that's in trouble? When the world looks like this, when women are having affairs with men that they don't want, how am I the one here in trouble? When you all are basically capitulating to wickednesses that you once upon a time told yourself, never, not me. Nyataga tamanje. How did that happen? Like you proper are visiting a masangoma to destroy people's lives. You are married to wicked men. You are so jealous of your friends because of impilo that you've been given money.
So I found out
that you are now bewitching the living daylights out of them. You are so envious of abangan bako. That's so yabataga tamanje. And the only thing against Monaganjena is because of everything you've lost, because of people that keep on bewitching stuff out of your life. Like there is literally only one solution for this, guys, and it's Jesus. You cannot choose to just become a witch because kunzima uphila in 2023. Yibo ayebayenza impilo yakho ukuthi ibe nzima to live, and you gotta trust the only one that can fix it without you becoming evil in the process. The phone is still charging, so I can still keep talking. You don't gotta become evil in the process. You do not have to ride the devil and his schemes because it's not only going to condemn your soul, but before you even go to hell, you're going to feel like trash. You're going to hate yourself, because what woman does not hate themselves? When you know for a fact that nobody ever will understand where your cheating is coming from. Ain't nobody out here ever gonna understand where your vantage point is coming from. When you're busy having these affairs with these married men, niyazi ukuthi most people are not going to understand where you're coming from. They're not gonna understand ukuthi when you're in love. They're not gonna understand ukuthi you've never felt like this. They're not gonna understand ukuthi that you tried to resist. Most people are just going to look at you like something for other people, and some of your friends even will ditch you, or like I said. When you are happy to have an affair with a married man, your girlfriends, even if they support you in everything you do, they are suddenly going to be clutching their purses in your grill out of either men. They're suddenly going to be clutching them. When you are the adulteress, guys, y'all know this is true. The adulteress female, the man, and largely don't even leave abafaz bakona. And even if they do leave the women, you will always be the woman that stole another woman's husband. You will literally always be that chick. You will always be the spiteful creep. And again, there's also all that insecurity that will always dwell in your heart about a man from another woman. Like that's always going to be the case. But these guys are manufacturing passions in you that you feel you ain't never had anywhere else. Guys, the feelings that you get because of witchcraft, they stab the heart. They're not natural. They're not organic. They are destructive. They're like a noise. They're like, how can I describe? They're like an electric guitar versus a piano. They are sharp. And so for those reasons, they're very hard to ignore. They're not legit in the sense that they tend to be, it's lust. So you will get a lot of passion, sexual passion in your bones, but you will mistake it for love, because the devil can never ever bring love into anybody's heart. Never. They don't know how the entities can never manufacture love, because that is exclusively the property of Jesus. It's exclusively the property of God. And so the devil can only do the next best thing, which is lust. So you will have a lot of sexual passion that you will feel for this individual. You will think about nothing but sex with them, and you will think that that's love. It's not. It's lust, and it is witchcraft, and it is to be resisted. And it's written in God's word, if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. With my ex-boyfriend, before Kitola, all of these reignited feelings in my heart for him, I had a dream. It was a nightmare. Yeah, where it is that I was making out with him a whole bunch. Like a whole bunch. We were kissing, making out, and we were about to have sex, but he didn't have a condom. And so he had to leave to go and get a condom. And that's how the dream ended. After that, I had all these feelings in my heart for him. It's always lust. It's always lust. It's never love. It is never love. But you need to be able to spot it for what it is. When you're busy getting dreams where it is that you're having sex with people that you don't understand, in your dream, that for the life of you, it's just some strange, weird, wacko colleague that for the life of you, you don't even like that much, but the passion in the dream is so thick, it's so real. Even if you end up having sex in that dream, it'll be better than any sex you've ever had in waking life, if at all you've had sex before. And so you will linger after, you will long for that passion, thinking that you're going to get it from that guy. That's the kind of stuff that produces adulterous affairs. You have to see it for what it is. Nip it in the bud. Which is why I don't subscribe all that much to the theories of deliverance ministers concerning their doctrine about sex dreams. It's not always you being compromised or watching porn or you having a spirit husband or whatever they call it. Sometimes it's witchcraft, and the way that a guy is trying to come into your life is through it. And so you're going to see yourself having sex with them. You got to wake up in the morning, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. You got to walk out of that situation prayerfully, and those feelings will linger for the next couple of days. I will give you that much comfort. It's days and not weeks. It's not years. It's not months. It's days if you resist. It's only days if you resist. I have got enough experience to successfully counsel you in this regard. If these guys do not lodge themselves in those days, if they don't successfully get you in their lives, talking to you on the phone, that thing is going to flee. So you just have to ride that situation out basically for 3 or 4 days. A week is too long. A week is too long. You don't even have to be fasting. Just resist it. See it for what it is. And after 4 days, you will no longer be thinking about that guy the way that you saw him in the dream. It will be dissipated from your understanding. It's just going to fade. Do you understand? Just as with my ex-boyfriend now, all those emotions that came back, they faded. And they were reignited into my heart. Sex. When the guy pursued me very naturally, organically, and was so decent that he couldn't even touch my body. Like he was, he only touched my shoulders, hung his hands on my shoulders the first time we kissed, the way that he was so not a pervert. Yeah, but in my dream, he was all up in there, groping me. Type of stuff that will get you in an adulterous affair when you're not that girl. Let me save now, finally, it is dying. This situation is such a major problem that the Lord saw it fit to show it to me all those years ago in advance. So I don't fall, so I don't trip by the wayside. Situation. And the main intention, it appears, of all of this incendiary activity around me was to get me to a point where I have accepted the proposal of a menace of a man. There is this woman in the US, I don't know who she is, her name by name, but she is the wife, I don't know if it's currently the status quo, of the celebrity guy that was caught on tape, on camera, being horrible to her. Like, she was busy trying to talk to him. She was very gentle and essentially kind of beggy. It's like she was like nangenga. And this guy was swearing at her, using all different kinds of expletives and treating her like trash. I keep getting a flash vision of that marriage. God showing me what they want to put you in a marriage with a guy that even when you try to basically submit and humble yourself and minimize yourself, that he might see where you're coming from so the two of you can reconcile, he's going to be so mean and so cold-spirited that he will even throw expletives at you when you're trying to reconcile. A mean man that's going to talk rubbish to you. You're nothing, but they will start out alright. That's the only thing a man in the occult can do. That's the only thing a man that is in a marriage with a Christian woman, albeit being lost, a little vampire, all he can do is manifest demons. And indeed, it happened with the guy in America. There was a time when we were having a discussion, we disagreed about something. I said, I'm sorry. And he was so aggressive. He was mean. I said, I'm fine. Nah, it's okay. I'm like, whoa, I have never been spoken like that. I've never been spoken to like that by any man before. No one, none of my exes have ever been like that to me. And at that stage, we weren't even married. Just trying to see if we can take this somewhere. I was going to end up with a mean man. A mean man. But you see, that is a strategy. The plan is to get me to be laughed at by women who are like, oh, you waited for God for this? This rude little bugger that's got mood swings from here to Timbuktu. Y'all need to understand, these people that tell themselves that over my dead body that you will get anything, they produce the kind of eventuality that I'm currently in right now. But I keep saying that the situation that I'm in, the Lord put me in it that I might be a testament to him. about what these witches are actually doing, because it's that dire. When I was on TikTok, there were these people that were always complaining that all I do is talk about witchcraft. Well, not enough people are talking about it and the real effects of it and the long-term ramifications of it, what it is that it achieves in people's lives, what are the outcomes, how it converts people altogether, changes personalities, marries people off in such horrible unions, like such miserable wives, miserable people, that it is worth the while to be spoken about. So like literally dedicating an entire niche to it, an entire ministry to it, like a person that does nothing but talk about it. It deserves individual focus. Just in the same way that within Christianity there are ministries for deliverance only, there are ministries that deal with what do you call this? Actually, no, let me think. Like, you know, in Christian prophecy, like the fivefold ministry, there are people who do nothing but prophecy. There are people who do nothing but deliverance. There are people who, etc. Why under heaven do you not think that the Lord can call a person to talk on just one topic? On just one topic. If at all is that big an issue in a country, if at all it has caused that much havoc, if at all it has wreaked that much chaos, it has to be spoken about. I have literally nothing else to talk about because this is the thing that always is plaguing me. Every single day, I am bombarded by pushings, like literally yearnings. Like I keep on getting, nudge to suicide every day. And it's not of me. It's not from me. I understand it is not my desire. And yet it's all up in my grill. Why? Because of witchcraft. It's witchcraft. I keep on getting slapped, getting sex dreams. Like I am abused by people that are getting away with so much murder in society, that frankly somebody gotta whistle blow every day about it. It is not enough for some ministers. Do you understand? It is not enough for like Christians within basically Christians, whatever it is that might be their callings in Christ, for them to just touch on the matter for 5 minutes and then move on to something else. It's not enough because the issue is that dire. There needed to be people that focus on just it because the situation is that bad. And I've got, like I said, this cousin is yet another person that's risen up from the woodworks, that's causing havoc in my life. And like I said, the feelings of foreboding are real. In this dream, those two nightmarish men were laughing at me, thinking something is a joke when it's real spiders that were all up in my grill. Witchcraft is not a joke. You don't just pull a prank on a person that causes them to lose a whole entire future, a whole career, like proper. So you can slip your way into the life of a woman. You will go and you will decimate career yake. You will go and you will make sure that no other men want Moshela, so you can come and be the only one marrying her. You will shallow her whole entire dating pool so that you can be the only thing that is standing erect in the ecosystem that she can see. And so you cause a woman so much insecurity. You make her feel like she's ugly, unwanted, unloved, even though she would have, if you had not manipulated with her ecosystem, been pursued by 20 guys flooding to her all in one sitting. But now you're the only one on Moshebile. You're the only person rocking up to bless a woman that nobody else seems to be willing to bless. They literally manipulate your life, the ecosystem around it, so as to give themselves a favor. They tip the scales in their favor. And the next thing you're married to a man that one day when he's busy watching TV, you're like, what am I doing here? Exactly. You are not supposed to be there. I have a friend that was given HPV by her boyfriend at the time. And when she went to the doctor, she didn't even know that it was a sexually transmitted disease. She just thought that it was one of those things that happened because, you know, like a cancer. It just happens upon you because you were predisposed to it genetically. But nah, when the doctor starts to explain to you under what circumstances you get HPV, and you realize that you're dating a whore for a man, that's when you start to feel like trash. HPV, of which is just like HIV, incurable. Or at least as at last time I checked. Umuntu HPV kanjani bese uyamchata anyway. A person gives you HPV and you marry them anyway. You marry them anyway. You marry them anyway. Dude, at least I say HIV. But before it becomes HIV. But nah, you out here marrying the guy that will eventually give you, after the human papillovirus or whatever, the immunodeficiency one too. Uzotoli AIDS, that's what's good. And it's women like these that then later on become so incredibly mean and so dark that they pride themselves in women who waited on Jesus, still being single at 39 and going nowhere. It's such women as these. The ones by feeling like the very men. You force a woman to be with you and then you can't even be faithful after you force her to be with you. You at least owe her faithfulness, but nah. You bring her in, and then you slap her with HIV 2 years into the marriage. That's what these guys are doing. And then now HIV positive. They know they're positive. They tested positive, but they insist on coming into my life. I just gotta take that in my stride because that's what they want. And so since they wanted, Karabo, just give me what I want. It's literally that basic. And I had the rug pulled under my feet by a whole bunch of women who are now insisting that I settle for men like those. They pride themselves in the fact that I've got sharks, piranha around me that want me high and low, that want to put feelings in my heart for them. They pride themselves in the fact that all that's available for me are men that are so tiny in comparison to me that I'm like a giant, like a Nephilim in comparison to them. Like men that are substandard, perverts, salivating after my body. Sexual innuendo, can speak nothing good about women, absolutely hate them, are chauvinistic, resent God, are involved in the occult, and they're salivating after a godly woman because nobody else is looking at her. These are the men that women are priding themselves are my only options. In my dream, I went into my mother's house, which was still as beautiful as it was back then, evidencing the exact same situation that I'm in today. I'm coming out of debilitated conditions, living in a room that does not suit the rest of the house that I live in. The house, my mom's actual house, is beautiful, but this room that I am in, this shack, is debilitated. Like I am living in squalor in the midst of people that are living much better than me. And that's how it was in my dream. I woke up in a room that I didn't recognize. It wasn't the unsweet, gorgeous room that I had in waking life. And then I left the room and went into the kitchen, and that kitchen was beautiful. And in that dream, I was wearing my work attire. I was still panicked. I had obviously still, I had much still to write home about. I was still beautiful. Like in my dream, I was wearing an outfit that suggested that there was still glory to me. And I was still on my way to work. Like it was in the morning before I went to work. I was about to go to work in my dream. And yet my cousin, wearing red, evidencing her witchcraft, was priding herself, scanning me up and down in the fact that, where's your husband now? And then as soon as she said that, some little pervert who was much too tiny for me was busy salivating after me on some "I'll marry you." That's exactly what's happening today. The same cousin is still busy with me with sorcery. And she has observed all of these years that have progressed, and she's thinking, she was the one that tried to push me into adultery. The whole thing with the cigarettes I used to smoke, I told you guys that. It's not that she wanted me to go back to, I've also had a dream where she was shoving alcohol down my throat. Alcohol. I also stopped drinking long before I even came to Christ. That was a woman. She literally went to a sangoma and asked that sangoma to regress me to bad habits, to take me back to where it is that I had quit. And I ought to have quit. Like, I stopped drinking alcohol because that's just what needed to happen. I stopped smoking cigarettes because that's just what needed to happen. And this cousin, I've had 2 dreams where she was trying to push me back to both habits. It does not necessarily mean that she was trying to get me back to alcohol or cigarettes. She was trying to get me back to a worldly life. She wanted me to walk away from Jesus. Let's save this because my phone is acting up again. She wanted me to walk away from Jesus and so therefore basically embrace the former way. The thing about the former way is I've never been an adulteress. Like, I've never been with a married man. Like, ever. So basically she was trying to make me something that even I'm not. In one dream, she shoved me to the married man that was treating her like trash. And for me, it's like, what and who do you think you are, witches? That you can literally conjure up brand spanking new character vices in people. Where you will make an adulteress out of a virgin. Where you will go and make into a whole beast. Umfazi that's got values, principles, morals, standards. That's just how evil they get. Anger is overwhelming, fury is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy? Those who tell themselves, not on my watch. Imagine they can go to a sangoma to even change your whole entire personality. So you will become that woman prepared to be with married men, when before it was a deal breaker, it was a no-go. It was everybody got their, I will compromise, I will settle with this I will take. However, this is an absolute no-go. Everybody has that bucket list for themselves. Everybody has that like whole matrix where they tell themselves, this is what I can do, this is what I'll never do, this is what I might do, and this is what it's negotiable. It's negotiable. So manja, when you've got something that you will never do and all of a sudden it's under negotiable, and witches feel like they can just shift you from those 2 extremes. What under heaven, who is protecting us from all that? Who is protecting us from people who are prepared to spend their own money to destroy you like that? To shatter you, to just make you an adulteress, so you can all comfort one another in being with married men. So you can all have conversations as bad girls in a caucus of bad girls that keep on sleeping with everybody's boyfriends and husbands. You these bad girls, and so now you want to come and just invite, a whole recruitment strategy into an occult organization. You want to invite as many women as you can into your sorrow as an unloved woman that a married man burps on and goes back to his wife and says, please don't call me after 11 because you might just cause a divorce. When you get given insecurities by that, and then you want to try and force somebody who's waiting patiently on God for a husband, you then go die. You go be the one to enter into a casket if you're telling yourself over your dead body that Karabo should ever marry well. Because after all, you are the woman, aren't you? That would go on right ahead and seduce Karabo's husband should she marry well. Given that you can't leave other women's husbands alone. Like people who go and decimate their own characters proper won't leave you alone. And I'm out here trying to create a case for all of us, including them, that what does it profit you to become evil because people done did you dirty and then go to hell afterwards? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and yet lose his soul? This cousin, this dream that I had long ago, where it is that she was priding herself as to where's my husband now, here it is that now today that dream is fulfilled, isn't it? And it turns out that here it is that all these years down the line, yet again, she's still mocking me. Yesterday I got a dream of another curse that she has put, and this time around she came for my siblings. Where it is that she did a spell to make sure that my siblings treat me like trash with each other, so that I feel as if though whatever I'm doing in life is a waste of time. It's like, why are you so obsessed with me? Why are you so obsessed with me finally dropping the ball on Jesus so you can all feel really good about being really evil? When I woke up from that, I was again with feelings of foreboding, because the thing about witchcraft is it does not just attack you in a dream and you wake up and you're like, whew, it was just a dream. First is the dream, and days later there's a manifestation. First it's a dream, and then a couple of days down the line it's a manifestation. And so what in the world is the manifestation of my siblings turning against me gonna look like? I will know who did it, but it's gonna break my heart, and it's gonna cause me a severity of anguish. It's gonna cause me suicide ideation again. It's gonna make me feel a lot of pain. And I have to just keep on anticipating surviving yet more attacks on my life. Over and over and over and over again. And this woman is trying to get me to a point where I'm like, it turns out it's not like good dry entirely. It's not like nobody's DMing me. I am being contacted, but it's just these like random filthy guys I want nothing to do with, that don't know Jesus, that are taking chances, but agutulanga at least. So let me see if I can't respond to one of them. That's what she's trying to achieve. Essentially, a person attempting to make me end up in a marriage where I am so miserable that my husband even swears at me because he can. That's the level of sabotage that these people do to people. And yet you don't think that this is the end of the world. It's a travesty and a tragedy that is happening to me. In that same dream, you know the face exercises that I do? The neck exercises to basically preserve my youth? She even came against that. In one dream, like I do these like face exercises where y'all know, I've done a video about it in the past. Those same face exercises had caused me to have like a bulging, like I looked like a butternut. Like my cheeks were like negativile. I was fat here in a way that I wasn't up here because I kept on working out my facial muscles. And so like becoming all bulky and oggy, like on steroids. My cheeks looked like that, and it warped my face out of shape. And in that dream, she was like to me, then maybe you should stop doing these exercises so at least you can get your old face back. So the muscles in your face can come down and stop. Basically, you get my point. Like what you do when you work out, you firm up muscles. She was like, just let them relax. Because look at how your face is divilengating right now. That's a person that's watching me so very much. Maybe even every single day she's watching my content. Enough to know that about 2 days ago, I spoke about how it is that I have these face exercises that I do that have basically rejuvenated my face. And here it is that I get a dream. Ironically, it is Monday. They tend to do witchcraft on weekends. I get a dream where it is that I'm being told just ditch the exercises because they're going to end up making your face bulky in one region, because those are the only muscles that you can work out. And so therefore just let it go so your face can flop again. First and foremost, I wasn't even drooping. I just improved what was basically about to start drooping, seeing as I'm headed for 40. I wasn't drooping. So I don't know why you think I'm going to start drooping all of a sudden. I'm only 39, for crying out loud. And secondly, evidence of the fact that there is something right that I'm doing here is the fact that you go out of your way to pay a sangoma money to make me stop doing what I'm doing to preserve myself, because you can tell that even though you try to come against my marriage prospects, there's still a whole threat coming anyway. It is literally still coming. Like you can tell, you can see it. And so given that you've always been that saboteur, you're still sabotaging. I've known for a minute that cousin is a witch. She doesn't care. So we're at enmity, we're at odds. Some of y'all, however, get these dreams and you write them off. You can't. People like this cannot be kept in your life. They keep on going back to the drawing board. They keep going back to the drawing board. Like, you will thoroughly be destroyed by just keeping them around. If the Lord has seen it fit to push you through a test, you cannot go through that test with these people around, because they're going to tease you in the test. They're going to mock you in the test. Just go through your test, hunker down, make like Job. Tell yourself that God has given, God has taken away. And yet in all these things, Job blessed the Lord. And in all that he did not sin. Recognize it for what it is. There are people out there that thoroughly tell themselves over their dead bodies that you should get a husband, over their dead bodies that you should get children, over their dead bodies that you should graduate, over their dead bodies that you should do anything at all in this world. They will look at your Instagram profile, they will look at your YouTube channel, they will look at your Facebook page, and they will tell themselves over their dead bodies before you continue to show them all of your fabulosity. They will bring down your hair and make you start your afro from scratch, even though out the way that they will bring acne on a perfectly clear face, causing you acne scarring. They are some nefarious, maniacal people out there. They will take beautiful clothes off your body and make you wear rags every day, just and for the sake of coming and doing a YouTube video. They will put you in a shack just because they don't want to keep seeing your beautiful apartments. But when you're in that shack, and when you are wearing those rags, and when your hair is growing again from scratch after you lost it the first time, when you are clearing that acne during the time when you are yet to be restored to what you used to have, you need to hunker down. You need to face kopele. You need to ignore everything erasang in the periphery and just trust Jesus, because literally whom have you in heaven but God? And earth has nothing that you ought to desire besides him. There's nothing else out here. It's not an option ugyotagata because abantu baktagatile. It is not an option ugyojola nendo techatile ngoba akuna muntu okusizayo. It is not an option to take wickedness in your stride, to sabotage people. It is not an option to lie on a CV. It is not an option to do underhanded shoddy things just so you can eat your bread tomorrow, because on that day I'll tell you. You cannot allow yourself to become evil. Like, how are you going to just join the band of miscreants that are telling themselves over my dead body before you will upload another pic on Instagram? How are you going to just let people like those grow in number, including you? How are you going to be part of the grain? How are you going to be among the many? How are you going to be among these nuisancing menaces that keep on stealing everybody's futures? I mean, is there no pride that you feel within about the fact that you're the different person? You march to the beat of a different drum. Are you not glad to be the only person out of your whole crew of friends? I certainly am proud. Also, a single person, even though all of my friends from high school, I'm the only one that has never afflicted any of them, and that for me is a crown of glory. I'm a queen. Because I'm a queen. God, the same queen Namhlanje is eating out like drag. She's literally living at the dregs of society, gathering dust. She's in the outliers. And so for those reasons, I'm underestimated. They have dethroned me and put me in the brigs, while they take my throne. They're swinging on a chandelier in a castle that belongs to me. But the day's gonna come when God is gonna recalibrate those scales and retribute me. Understand, I am getting my Dane court and their comeuppance. They're finally going to be meted to meet the music. You cannot allow yourself to be a circus clown, guys. You can't just let yourself into fellow your business. You cannot allow yourself, because you feel tumulted, then become the torture of society. Because we're now pafilwe. Because somebody decided to slap you, so you slap other people. What then of a circus of the earth are you creating? There's gotta be a better way. Literally, it has got to exist. And his name is Jesus. It cannot continue like this. Y'all gotta see that there's a better way. There's gotta be. Because this circus, rather than instead of it being this thing in mepeto ya banna basa planang go le bona. This thing of causing people to end up in environments they didn't sign up for. Uzovuka nje married to any khetlo ngayithandi. Lenyalo kaofela. I do. Yo okay fellet. You did that. Only drunk on Korobela. Like, there has got to be a better way. And his name is Jesus. I had just recently had an ex-boyfriend that literally petitioned me for an adulterous affair as a mistress. When at some point there has got to be a better way. These people that just go and take whatever they want, you cannot allow yourself to become one of them. And if you are, you better stop, because you're typical. The only one positioning and expect to be okay tomorrow. I've got to find a better way of working, because of the fact that I keep on getting persecuted so much that I've been given a curfew to be done doing everything I do by 10 p.m. at night. Right now, I'm even skating on thin ice because it's 8 minutes past 10. By a certain time. So I gotta change my schedule because of all this persecution. There's gotta be a better way. Therefore, I've made a decision. I'm gonna start exercising first thing in the morning before breakfast, and then do my day. Because if I don't do that, I'll never get exercise in. I have to reshuffle my schedule instead of allowing myself to be stolen from. I'm a very important segment of my ministry. I gotta work out. It's important. Maintain the beauty they wanted to take. maintain the hair growth they wanted to take, maintain the beautiful woman, the glory of my figure, the very thing I gotta make sure I can still fit into it again. Again on umzimba wam. I gotta when I do a blowout on my hair again, I have got to keep myself in a bunch. I cannot allow myself to get acne ever again, so I can clear my skin so it can be beautiful again. All these things I'm doing to maintain myself is to show labantu laba ukuthi you might have taken certain things from me, but I feel like they were restorable, like my skin, like my teeth that have shifted, because I can't go to an orthodontist. I'm gonna go back should the Lord give me an opportunity to do so. Back. If anything, it's already growing back. Everything that you took, you don't get to just your tonja. Also no. Mara since whatever, I can still go me and dieta go Europe. Guess my next. I can chop those toenails, go and get a pedicure, and go and wear some peep toe shoe acute again. I can still do all that. I have not lost the basic skeletal structure, the skeleton, the woman that I am. It's still there. It's just a matter of getting me into a brand spanking new pair of shoes now, and a beautiful dress, and putting on some lipstick and some mascara. That's all that's missing. Mara musadi yena since le teng o tlhekegile ka o fela o felletse mara ona le batho ba ka motsaelang. That's what these people are doing. You're not going to take my figure away. I gotta go back to working out. I literally cannot allow my body to go. I can't. Moto into oblivion. Lilo forced out moto the wicked thing that you became. Cause when now you were willing to go and now you're gonna go and take Karabo's future husband. I'm sorry, I'm not that girl. There's literally gotta be a better way. And his name is Jesus. I'm signing out in Christ's name, Kwen K. Bye bye.